Hello.
You got volume.
Good afternoon.
Howdy, ma'am.
I gotta turn my volume up a little bit.
You're just like this work machine.
Well, thanks. It's kind of just happened. Uh,
Yeah, isn't that true, right?
I have a question. I want to start with something because I've been reading the Bible out loud. I'm in
Oh,
Exodus.
okay.
It's 4 24. And it says, on the way to Egypt, at a place where Moses and his family had stopped for the night, the Lord confronted him and was about to kill him. Why? He was
Yeah,
doing everything the Lord asked him to do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then said, but Moses' wife Zipporah took a flint knife and circumcised her son, touched his feet with the foreskin, and said, you are now a bridegroom of blood to me. After that, the Lord left him alone. So I'm confused
Yeah.
because right before it says the Lord says to Moses, when you arrive back in Egypt, go to the Pharaoh and perform all the miracles, but I will harden his heart. Then you will tell him, this is what the Lord says: Israel is my firstborn son. I command you, let my son go so he can worship me. But since you have refused, I will now kill your firstborn son. It wasn't Moses refusing, it was Pharaoh refusing, right? So why would God want to kill Moses' son
Yeah, I think, oh, okay. Wait, I think let me read that last bit. That's a good
or
point.
kill Moses? Actually, it's the way I read it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And it just kind of came out of nowhere. And I'm
which
like,
I'm sorry, where was that verse?
um, Exodus 4:24.
Chapter 4.
So it's like he was in Egypt, went back to get his go back to
Mhm.
Jethro, and then he was going back to Egypt again. And on the way, all this happened.
Yeah, in verse 26, when she said bridegroom blush, she was referring to circumcision. After that, the Lord left him alone.
Yeah, but it's 24 that I'm confused
Yeah.
about.
So I'll give you the two best interpretations I've heard of that or
Okay.
heard about that. Um, because Moses hesitated, so apparently, so again,
His hesitation was he said, well, I don't speak well. And God said, okay, Aaron will speak for you.
but with circumcising his own kids.
Oh, so
And
that was
so
like a requirement?
God required that. And because he wasn't willing to do it, something bad was going to come upon him. But again, the best interpretation I heard when it says she set it at his feet, I think she threw it. So she was so upset, she throws these foreskins. So she had to do it
Or is
apparently.
it at Moses' feet?
Moses,
Okay.
like so, it's either one or the other in this sense. Either shame on you, why did I have to do this? You were supposed to do this.
Okay.
And so, because he wasn't going to obey with that, then she had to do it, or she was angry about circumcision and she threw his feet. But I think somehow it had to do with, so it makes sense to me that the Lord told him to do something, and given his position, meaning the Lord
Well,
had
yeah,
chosen,
he should have done it. Yeah.
there you go. So I think that's probably what it is, that she had to do what he was not willing to do, and she sensed he or they collectively, depending upon like under their house, so to speak, he's the leader of the home, so to speak, that she sensed something was going to happen because he was not doing what he was supposed to do. So she had to do it.
Okay.
And she
That
was kind of
makes sense.
disgusted. She was disgusted with him at that moment.
Oh, see, I just kind of took it as I didn't read all that into it.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, I don't get it. Why does God want to kill him? He's doing everything
Right.
he says.
Right.
But I guess he didn't. Was there a requirement before that where God said circumcise your kids that I missed?
Um, it was going to be. So apparently that was the first
Because I
institution.
know it says it later.
Right.
Because I
So that
went
was
past
apparently the
that.
first institution of that.
Okay.
So there's probably a couple of different reasons why about that. What's interesting is on the day that the Jews were to, as far as once the baby's born, vitamin K is at the highest level in the baby's body. So it's
Okay.
interesting. But because our sex and sexuality is the one thing that we own and have control over, you'll really see the degree of somebody's spirituality, what they do with that. So, for instance, those that basically say, that's not a political statement, but my body, my choice. Well, how is that different than the world? So
Right.
you can't tell me what to there, that willfulness. And in Romans 12, 1 and 2, it says, present our bodies as a living sacrifice. Basically, I'm not my own. I'm going to submit to God.
So is that why they circumcise at all? Because I don't even understand that.
Yeah. So I think, and the best I understand is this, that if you live in a world of uncircumcision, that if somebody was going to venture outside of the parameters, then especially if they're having relations outside of marriage or whatever, it's going to be a discussion.
Oh, because they're from a different land
Well,
and
and all of a
some do
sudden,
and some don't.
and the guy's penis looks different. It's like, what's that? So it was very interesting. There's a lot of different the physical and spiritual metaphor. Like God will talk about circumcise your hearts. So
Does
the
that mean
idea,
cut off the bad stuff?
yeah, or cut away the hardness, the natural ego, quite frankly, and we'll submit.
Okay.
So circumcision then, physical reasons why, as far as
Is that
doesn't
like
pass on diseases as much.
okay? I've kind of heard that in the
Yeah,
past, but I
but
have
it
no
really
idea.
was
It's like
if
God made us with that. So why would he want you to chop it off?
yeah. So I think I've heard different medical. I read a book where it really goes into detail. Here's the rates of cancer that happens, especially for the women, for guys that are uncircumcised. There's
Oh, okay, because it's
a
the extra.
apparently a lot of health benefits. Now, I had my kids circumcised. It was rough. I didn't like to do it, but I thought, you know what? If God instituted it,
Okay.
I got to trust because He doesn't like inflicting pain. But it was ultimately to separate and cause a distinction.
In
The
tribes.
Sabbath. So there are two things that were really going to cause God's people to stand out. Nobody else took a day out. It's like Chick-fil-A. They close on Sundays.
Yeah.
So everybody's left scratching their head like, Sundays, that's a really busy day. Why would you shut your business down? So it's a step of faith that, and it's going to speak to the surrounding world and
Uh-huh.
circumcision. So the Jews, right? They were to stay within their tribes, so to speak, and not go among the Gentiles.
Okay, because the Gentiles did not
Right. So you
circumcise.
can imagine here's a guy going
Okay.
out and the woman's not going to notice. And so it's like having a wedding ring on, quite frankly.
Okay. Okay.
Right? How many
Okay.
guys have an affair that take their wedding ring off?
Oh yeah,
Like
all of them.
guys on a business trip.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's all I needed to know. I was just like, what's the big deal here? Why all of a sudden you want to kill Moses? He's
yeah. So
doing
I think
your
he
bidding.
left, yeah, he left up to his wife what he himself was supposed to do.
Because that's the role of the father or
It
the
was,
priest or whatever.
yeah, the men of the community, whoever was,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So he was abdicating. He was abdicating the one,
All
his
right. I I,
responsibility.
I understand it
There we
now.
go. There,
Okay.
sorry.
It's like, what? It's just this random thing. I'm
Yeah, it
like,
was, huh?
what?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Where to begin? I
Yeah,
guess
there's so much.
I guess with the journal, so what I did, Chris went on a 3 night business trip. So I had 3 evenings just to work. And I got 7 weeks ahead on all my stuff for YouTube and Rumble and
I
all
want to
that.
go back. I want to catch up. I want to listen to.
And but I thought, I want to take my handwritten journals, and because I can't feed them into my PowerPoints the same way I can the other way. So I thought, well, I'll just dictate it in a note and do the same thing. And as I was rereading it for my shows, I was like, oh, I had some realizations. And so I went back to those handwritten journals. But I guess, should we start there?
Yeah, let's do it.
1, 2. No, that's, oh, yeah. Okay. I wrote this in January, but I remembered as I was reading, I need to share that this is actually a part. It's like, oh my goodness. I wrote about it, but at the time I didn't know there was such a thing as parts. So, okay. I recall Grandpa used to sit on the altar center chair. All the ladies went by him in their robes and do a sex dance. Have you seen that thing on YouTube? Masonic dancer in front of the lodge, the head lodge guy.
No.
It's interesting to
Can
say
you
the
can you
least.
send it? I would like to see that.
Yeah, I could actually show you right now. I was surprised how easily I found it again. Let me see.
There's a Masonic dance.
Well, that's what they called it. But yeah, it's like a sex dance. And Masonic.
Oh, that'll be invaluable. Maybe I'll add.
Yeah, Masonic
Oh,
air
wow!
dance
What
ritual.
is
Yeah,
this?
it's like 2 minutes.
Is this real?
I believe so. It's taken with hidden camera. And this woman just
Oh
does
my
this
gosh, thank you
seductive
for showing me.
dance in
Look
front
at
of you.
this.
I saw this months and months ago.
Okay. Oh, I'm so glad you're showing. Oh my, look at this. Oh, oh yeah, these are just a bunch of guys that are happy-go-lucky
And
and
we
want to
go
get
there
laid.
like this. This
Look at her
the
head.
third guy
Yeah.
will go like this too. Just all chitty chatty, talking. So if you watch after a while, he'll do the same thing with his hand on his mouth.
Unbelievable.
I
I'm
know.
This is what they don't want. I'm surprised it's still on the internet.
Yeah. I was shocked how quickly I found it. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times.
This is all I need to.
So I put a link on my show notes for when I post this, a link to this. Isn't that interesting? It's like, are you kidding me?
There we go. That's all
So,
I need to see.
all the ladies went by him in their robes to do a sex dance, is what I called it. About 1 or 2 minutes each. There were about 20 of us. First, his mistress wife, my grandmother, then down the ranks. I was the last. All the other ladies, girls opened the robes to show their naked bodies and tried to seduce him and his 2 men beside him. I hated it. I didn't know what to do. So when it was my turn, I just opened my robe, put it down, spun around to show all of me, swished my hips from side to side, and quickly moved on. I figured if I could get away with doing the circle dance badly, that was Grandma's little hail Ra, hail Satan thing with the witches downstairs, that I could get away with it with Grandpa. Grandpa said, wait a minute, come back here. I froze. He called me again. The ladies pushed me over there. He had me stand in front of him. He said, what was that? I don't know. I was close to tears. He took his middle finger and put it in my vagina and roughly and quickly pushed me back and forth. My whole body moved. He said, no, just move your hips and stand still. He did it again and rocked my hips. I started to cry and looked down. Oh, this should say his forefinger. And ring finger was digging into my vagina. it hurt. He slapped me and said, don't ever give me that cutesy shit again. You grind your pussy for me. You got it? And swallow those tears. Now do it for me. So I did, with his fingers still inside me. I swallowed the tears. Then he touched his cheek with those same fingers, said, now give me a kiss. So I did. He wiped my fluids on my mouth with a vengeance. It was revolting. Now get out of here, is what he said. I went to wipe it off and he demanded I leave it there. I don't like to dance at all to this day, I'm sure due to this. There were two young girls after me. Then we all went downstairs with the ladies and changed to leave. I had an upset stomach always. I washed my face. I was to turn 4 years old in a few weeks. Angie and Mary said, you got to do what he says, Diana. And grandpa scared me always. So that was when I was reading that for my show and recording it. I was like, oh my God, that's a part. I called her cutesy dancer. And then the next day she wanted a new name. So she wound up being Celia.
Oh,
So, and then I read this next one. Is it this one? Yeah. Oh no, this is something else. This is just an addition to BB, who was Black Brother, who I considered the head dude in the black robe, but I embodied that. So I recall being in the upstairs men's room. I was sent up there to, quote, meet someone. As I waited, I went to the room that was always closed, but now the door was open. I don't know if you remember the sketch of that place. Let me see. Oh, shoot. The Masonic Lodge. Oh, geez.
the one behind the church?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see if I have it. Yeah. Um,
I mean, I do remember, but yeah, let me see again.
it's
Yeah.
this top floor, right? This is a bathroom, stairs, closet. This is like a pillar where they were standing, like those three men you just saw in the video. But this was like a library back here. And so they sent me, and I'm just kind of hanging out in this room, not knowing what I'm looking at.
But you don't know where that church is? And
Yeah, it's in Elkhart, Indiana, or somewhere around
have you
there.
seen it on a Google map thing?
I've found three or four, so I don't know which one it is.
Because wouldn't that be something? There's proof, right? You got this floor plan.
Well, but again, it's 50 years old, 55 years old. So whether it wasn't the church itself, as a Baptist, I can find the Baptist churches, but I can't find one that has a building behind it. So they may have demolished the building or something.
But there's proof, right? If you got the floor plan,
Yeah, I mean,
not
there's the
that you
main
need proof,
floor
but
and
you
then
know
the
how
basement
powerful
with
that
the
is.
tunnel back here.
Just like if you can sketch out any of the rooms or whatnot at Camp David.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, but nothing's been.
Yeah, no,
I need to actually sketch it and then it'll probably develop. So I went to that room, was always closed, that library, but now the door was open. I felt it pulling me in. I walked over to the open door and looked in. There were lots of books, bottles, jars, science stuff. Now, how I would know what science stuff is at 3 years old, I don't know. I think I was three or almost three my first visit there. This was before the rituals and all the abuse and events. I was about 10 feet in the room and the man came behind me. I should probably leave this up, make it smaller. Oh, shoot. I guess I'll move this over here. Oops. Quiet, almost floated. He appeared from nowhere. He was old. He smiled. You know you should not be in here. I got scared and frozen and looked down. He came and lifted my chin with his finger, and yet you are here. Why? I said, I don't know. Since you are here, let's look around. What would you like to see? I touched a book. Now I'm like, let me see. I'm like right around here somewhere. And he said, books. And books are very important, especially old ones. Which do you desire? Look deeply. So I started walking down the walkway here. So I walked the length of the shelves about 15 feet. I touched one on the left, far left, deep in the room. His eyes raised when I pulled it out. That one, yes. The room was dusty. You could see the dust in the air through a streak of light. It lit up a book. He pulled it out and said, now, so like here's like a window with curtains, but a shaft of light was coming through like this. Right. So it lit up a book right there. And so I just picked that one. He says, you know what that says? I shook my head. No, it's very old. Of all the books here, you went for this one. His eyebrows raised. I didn't say it was because the sunlight on it
Yeah.
lighting it up. I just shrugged my shoulders. This is about the Savior Jesus. Do you know him? I shook my head. Oops. He said, that's okay. You don't need to. Let's go sit here and talk a while. So he sat in a big leather chair with a high back right here. I went to sit on the other chair, this one, but he tapped his thigh and said, no, sit right here. I sat on his knee. He smelled sour and rotten. He was bony. He asked if I knew him. I shook my head. He said, everyone here will have their pleasures with you. I am here to see what you are made of. You'll probably never see me again unless, and he didn't finish. So let's see about this book. He talked about that book, and Jesus told me about what the book said, and that I should not believe the stories about Jesus. They were lies. That I should study hard in school and listen to Dad and Grandpa. To leave this book, the Bible, alone. It had nothing to teach. Did I understand? As he pushed the back of my neck, or pinched the back of my neck hard. That's when I saw his face change and I was scared. I nodded. My stomach got upset. A rock in my gut. My hair got tingly. He had morphing eyes. Now, 3 days later, in my journal entry, what is it? 8182? Is it that one? No. I
So
actually saw him. His face popped in front of me. Where is it? Well, I'll get to that later. He said, you can see, can't you? He said, you can see, can't you? I tried to look away
referencing the
and,
changing of his eyes?
huh?
Was he referencing his eyes were changing?
They were yellow. That's what I saw
Or
3 days later.
when he said you can see, what was he talking about?
I think just like spirit, maybe. Like I could see him changing. Yeah. So um I tried to look away and down. He said, look here at me. I did. He put his fingers up to my eyes, the index and pinky, devil horn, and said, you do not see what you see. Like this, to me. I could
Oh,
almost feel electricity going from his fingers to my eyes. There was a tingly pressure. My eyes watered, but I wasn't crying. It confused me, my mind. I jumped off his lap and walked out as fast as I could. As I went through the room and down the stairs, I had to go past the men coming upstairs. They all glared and looked greedily at me. One man licked his mouth at me. As I got to the bottom, the man was at the top and projected his voice to me. Remember what I said. As I turned to go into the room, I looked up. I saw his devil face smiling. I was terrified. I nodded. I got out of that stairwell to the ladies on the main floor. I heard him telling Grandpa Strong, you have to watch that one very carefully. Keep a tight lid on her. She is the third girl and a Leo to boot, plus her name. So Diana is the name of a goddess, which is an incarnation of Astarte from back in Babylonia or whatever that woman's name was. he said, Ken pay it. And Grandpa said, Ken, pay attention to him. And Dad said, yeah, okay. Then the lady set me up to go downstairs to Grandma and the sacrifice of the baby. So that was just kind of illuminating when I was reading it on, I did a Zoom thing so I could share because I put this sketch up and stuff. So that was in 116. Okay, yeah. So this was a follow-up. 3 days later in my handwritten journal, I said, I recall that more occurred in that library after I selected the book and handed it to that man. He placed it on the table and said, let's just put that aside for a moment. I was still standing to his left, and he took my hand and guided me in front of him. Do you know patty cake? I nodded. I smiled a bit. Patty cake is fun. He put his palms out and said, let's do it this way. Put your hands on mine. His palms were up. I did. Then he turned his right hand over so mine was under. Now, can you feel that? I was confused. No. How about now? My hands tingled. Surprised, I said, yes, it tingles. Good. How about now? It was like electricity. I was startled and pulled away and stepped back. What's wrong? Too much? I nodded. He said, how about you try? I stepped forward, wary, but I put my hands on his again. But he traded hand positions. So if we were like this, he went like that. Just think of a flow of air that moves from this hand to that and then send the air to me. Remember the tingle? Send it back to me. I did. I just did it. It was a flow of energy that I could move. He raised an eyebrow and nodded. Good. Now more. Send more. I did. Good. Now let's do this. Our hands were now facing each other about 2 inches apart. Do it now. I did. Good. Again. But our hands were about a foot apart now. Good. Now let's make a ball right here between our hands. We did. I could see a fuzzy static like blob in between our hands. Good. Now you hold it. I did. I was energized. I was doing it. I put an exclamation mark there because I was excited.
Yeah.
Throw it over there. And he pointed to the book. I did. The book quickly moved off the table. He nodded. I was surprised and excited. Well, now we know what you can do. Let's keep this our secret. I nodded. Now come sit. I went to the other chair, this one, as he bent over to get the book. As he sat up, he said, no, sit here. And he tapped his left thigh. So I did. When I was on his lap, I was enveloped in his energy. He smelled. His leg was bony. I don't know how you spell that. That's when he told me to disregard the book I chose, the Bible, and Jesus, they were lies. He did that thing with his fingers, the devil horns to my eyes. I believe that's when an entity entered me. Now, I'm writing this back in January before I met you. Also, on the first hand touch, I think that's why I could do what he asked. I was the entity, but it made me believe it was, it was the entity, but it made it believe it was me. It pumped up my ego. So as I'm reading that for my show, and I just left it as is, I was blown away. I was like, oh my goodness. Because I remember what you and I had talked about. And I'm like, oh, so there must have been an entity, behind or around or whatever, and did that to make me think that I was doing it.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
just like Grandma did with that energy stuff.
That's exactly right.
Oh, come on.
And that's what, what a message, at that moment, that was war between him and God. That was a message.
I
All those
have no
books,
clue.
all those books.
Why is this not moving?
Wow.
I know. Yeah. So he was like some big wig dude
Yeah.
that came there to evaluate me because right after that is when they started doing the rituals with the Hail Ra Hail Satan and the killing of the cat in the basement, the killing of the baby in the basement, or wasn't the cat, it was the baby. So this was the night after we talked, I think, 7:31. The day after we talked. Yeah, I'll get rid of this. I just saw a bathtub with a bunch of toys being thrown into it, almost too many toys, and a hand of a little person reaching in. So it was Dad had the tub filled up and he was throwing a bunch of toys in there. And I was kind of reaching and playing with the water from the outside. Now I can hear Mom asking Dad, what the hell is he doing? That there is too many toys in the tub with her. So I'm like already in it now with me. That's, and Dad saying, you can give her a bath the way you want to, and I'll give her a bath the way I want to. There were so many toys in the tub. I couldn't even move my arms around. I think he was asking me or watching me to see which ones I would gravitate to, or perhaps it was intentional to overwhelm me. I think I'm about 2 years old. Mom walked away. And I remember there were toys that did not float. I remember one was like a crane, and like Tonka toys and rubber ducky, girl toys, boy toys, let's like all of it. Dad kept adding toys to the tub and I was getting overwhelmed. I'm two. I started crying and Mom came back in. She tried to pull some of the toys out. Dad pushed her out and away. He told her that he knows how to give his daughter a bath. She left again. So later I added the name Fanny. That's when he started putting his hands under the toys and putting his fingers inside of my vagina and anus. I cried more. Dad got up and shut the door and locked it. Mom was knocking at the door and trying to get in. She asked through the door, what the hell is going on? Dad said nothing. Everything was fine. Mom said, if everything was fine, then why is Diana crying? Dad told her I had gotten some soap in my eyes and he's rinsing it off and everything is just fine. Again, he was putting more toys in the water. I couldn't even distinguish between what was what. Then he would rape me again. I'm kind of couching my voice because Chris is here. When I would begin to cry or make noise or splash, which was almost impossible because of all the toys, he would put the towel to my face. I would push it away. If I cried, I got the towel. If I did not cry and allowed him to rape me, I did not get the towel. He was training me then. He was torturing me then. It was overwhelming me. And I think that's when I split into this personality.
Sure.
He dunked me under the water too. I remember the image I got was all the toys floating up over me. And it was so full of toys that there was no opening above me. Then he would bring me back up again with a towel if I started to cry or make noise. I could catch my breath if I was quiet. And then I put, what a motherfucker.
Sure.
It was after dinner time and Mom was cleaning up the kitchen, but also Angie and Mary were making a ruckus and she had to go in there and see what was going on with them and settle them down. They were in their room, which is right next to the bathroom. She was hollering at them about what the hell is going on and to settle down. As she walked from their room back to the kitchen, she knocked on the door for Dad to hurry up. Diana needed to get to bed. Dad did not respond. He was busy raping me with his fingers. And then the name Fanny comes to mind because I kept thinking, well, okay, Part, what's your name? What's your name? And she wouldn't tell me until I got to here. So Mom knocked on the door again a little while later. I think she must have finished in the kitchen. She told Dad that he had had plenty of time to bathe me and it's time for Diana to go to bed. Dad finally pulled me out of the water and dried me off. He smacked my butt and said, okay, little Fanny.
Yep. Yep.
I just wonder if Angie and Mary got any of this treatment when they were this age as well.
Yeah.
Why would they not? Brings me back to the original thought. A pedophile doesn't start with his youngest child. After I was in bed, I could hear Mom cleaning up the bathroom. She said, Jesus, Ken, Jesus Christ, Ken, what the hell were you doing with all these toys? He was in the living room and didn't answer. I said, I'm constantly gobsmacked at how blind my mom was. With all the bizarre behavior, why she did not get a clue sooner. And then I thought, well, I suppose if Angie and Mary went through it too, she was probably desensitized when it came to me with this whole bathtub nonsense.
Right.
So I'm thinking about that. and thinking my dad knew exactly what he was doing. Why else would he put so many toys in the tub with me? It was intentionally to overwhelm me, like he knew. It was intentionally to cover the water so his
That's bottom
babies would
line as well,
fit.
right there. Yep, that's right.
All of it was calculated.
Yep.
Only two or three or four of the toys actually floated. All the others were just in the water with me. But I'm thinking, John, too, that he was testing to see which ones I liked
Yep.
as some sort of aptitude test.
Yep.
And also at the same time overwhelm me.
That's right.
And also at the same time hide his hands. As he dunked me under the water, which I think was to rinse my hair, they rubbed against me and my body pushed. Because when he put me down, there's so many toys, the toys had to be forced out of the way. Push the toys out of the way that were filling the space. It was intentionally to overwhelm me. What a motherfucker. And then the next morning it hit me. I'm thinking about Fanny in my memory of her. Mom said to Dad, I don't know why you always put so many toys in the tub with them. That's what she said. So he did do that with Angie and Mary. So I was like, okay, I got my answer the next morning. And then 8-1. Oh, Jack. Oh, have I read this to you yet about the helicopter and going past the airport? I know, I don't think
Yeah, you
so.
said military green. I saw myself.
Yeah, yeah, laying down to go to sleep. I saw an
Oh,
image of a
right
helicopter
up
taking
past.
off and leaving an airport. It was a pretty large helicopter and it was military green color. After
No, we
that,
have not read this. So,
are you reading it or should I read it?
yeah, you can keep. Yeah, read it.
Said after that, then I saw myself in a vehicle driving to the airport and driving past the terminals until we reached ours and then we stopped. Jack is with me. So it's like
Wow.
the memory's going backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see Dad on the ground as we are lifting off in the helicopter and flying away. He's getting smaller and smaller. We were on our way to Camp David, and Jack told him, Dad, that he did not have clearance, so he could not come. Jack asked me if I was ready for my big debut. We're in the helicopter. I didn't really respond. I was too busy looking out the window and watching the view. I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and nodded. That's when Jack had the pilot fly past the CN building. I saw it from the top down as the pod part was being constructed. What I saw was a disc shape around the building. It wasn't really a pod yet. He had the pilot fly around that building and was telling me that it's going to be the tallest building in the world, which at that time it was.
Yeah.
That seemed interesting to me, but I was also nervous about what to expect. I enjoyed the flight and looked around at everything I could. It was kind of loud in there, but I didn't mind because I wasn't really in the mood to chat with Jack. I kept wondering where we were going and what I was going to have to do. As we approached the little ranch area, now this is a previous memory I had, is when I became anxious. Jack gave me a piece of candy to eat, which
Oh,
I'm sure was drugged.
yeah.
Got off the helicopter and walked to the building. By then, I could feel my adrenaline surging. That's when I saw the horse hanging upside down, and Jack pulled out the machetes. He had me practice on the horse for about an hour before we went went to the building with some men in it. They had me dressed in tribal clothing. As I walked into the room, I tried to familiarize myself and get acquainted with the space. He showed me where I would be and walked me there. Then there were a few men with suits on. As we waited and the stage was set, the room filled up more and more with men in suits.
And this is Camp David, you think?
Yeah, Nixon's cabinet. Once everyone was seated, then the show began. They had tribal music going, and a narrator set the stage to the scene for what was about to happen. So they're putting on a show. Then a man was brought in and put in the center of the stage. He was drugged as well, but it was to make him docile. I came in behind him and walked around him 2 or 3 times as part of this story. The narrator told the story. When the narrator spoke a certain set of words, that's when I cut the man's forearm off, which I read a few days, which was my journal prior. When the narrator, my thumb hurt really badly. Oh, by the way, TED Talks, my thumbs are fine and my neck
Oh,
is fine.
oh,
Yeah, yeah. The man stood there looking at his forearm chopped off because he was like drugged and he's like, oh my God, my arm is gone. There's blood spraying all over. I moved to the front of him and stabbed the machete in his abdomen and pulled it up to his breastbone. After that, the man fell. The audience got energized. Someone else came in and took care of the body. That's when I was taken backstage and they added to my costume so it would be more feminine. So now I'm going from, a man's tribal clothes to woman's tribal clothes. Then I went back out and knelt on one knee with the machete pointed on the floor by my side. The narrator started another story. Now I'm going to back up a bit. When Jonah was taken backstage to change clothes, he was led into a room. That's when Nixon came in and raped Flora. Flora did as he said. He raped Flora with his mouth and her genitals. Then he anally raped her with his penis. When he had his fill, he got up and left. Then Flora was led out to the main room to stand in front of the men and be digitally raped by them. So it's like Nixon had to put his mark on me first. Once that whole ceremony was over, I was taken back to the changing room. My regular clothes were put on and Jack and I left in the helicopter. So yeah, that was fun. And the next night was just two real short. First, I saw a woman. She was like this, brushing her hair into a ponytail. No
I'm sorry.
idea who it
Let me ask
was.
this. Sorry. You had shown me that picture. You brought up that picture of his cabinet.
Yeah, actually, you know what I did that night after you and I talked? I looked up each one individually and waited to see if my body responded.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I totally forgot I did this.
Oh,
Perps.
should
Where
have
did I
set
put it?
that down.
Camp
Kelly.
David. So here's all the pictures.
Oh,
I got a
okay.
little bit of their bio. The ones that have a squiggle are the ones that gave me a reaction, right? So there's only like,
Donald Rumsfeld.
yeah, three of them did not, two or three. When also, this guy did not, this guy did not, this guy did not. Yeah, so these three did not,
George Bush. Look at
or
him.
these
Gerald
ones
Ford.
did not.
Kissinger.
Yeah, I'll make it bigger for you. Yeah, so it's his whole cabinet there. Well, not his whole cabinet, because
Wagner.
these guys down here either were not there or did not participate.
And
Henry
visually,
Kissinger, he's always creeped me out. Always.
so how many? Hold on. Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because what I did was I opened their Wikipedia
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and actually, yeah, see, he creeps me out right now. I don't even want to look at his face. This one in particular is creepy. Gerald Ford, all these people.
I
So
can't.
that's what, two, four, six, seven, 28 men plus Nixon.
Ah,
Yeah, took me like an hour to go through all these. And I did it based on Nixon's page and it went to his cabinet. So I clicked on the name and it
yeah.
took me to them and then I went back. And these ones, funny enough, some of the years don't match up. Like, well, that one does 72 to 73. I think I was there in 74. So this guy wouldn't have been part of his cabinet then. I think neither would this guy have 90 to 94. I think Nixon resigned in 94, or not 94, it was 74. But he was just, this guy doesn't bother me.
So you wonder if then Watergate If
Yes, he's 73. He wasn't there.
so, you wonder then,
But that's
Watergate,
the whole cabinet right there.
if if he had outlived his usefulness.
That's what I was thinking. Or if he knew he was going to have to resign, maybe months ahead of time, he went to Camp David to have one last,
There it is.
big to do, and have his men cut their hand and be a part of it and be just as blackmailable as him.
Visually, and I'm just looking at the picture of the cabinet.
Yeah.
Might be interesting as you if you were to bring that up, visually to put an X on the perps or to show
Oh,
people.
that would, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't ready to, it
Yeah,
was enough just to look at
no,
each of their
I
faces. It was like,
I'm
and
just
this picture's pretty horrible too. But there's George, or no, that's what, Wolfowitz?
Bush is far right, back right.
Yeah, yeah. But there's that short little dude. I'm not sure.
So
For
what
some reason,
again?
he sticks out to me.
What you're revealing to me is is we just don't want to believe this is so. But then, in
Yeah.
order to make it to the highest levels, you got to be a perp.
Yes, that's what Alan taught. You cannot get to those levels unless you go through the ranks and prove your evilness. Alan didn't say it that way, but they vetted you and would not pull you up unless they approved of you. And the only way they would approve of you is if you went through Masonic rituals, if you went through their little rituals, whatever. But yeah, Alan never got into SRA stuff. But
Uh,
I know now that that's what the one thing he didn't
see
go
that
to.
I'm going through that, even though look at what I've heard thus far. But Diane, it's just
Well, and the thing that's hitting me this morning, I keep hearing this voice in my head. I think it's Martha saying, it's just all so fantastical. No one's ever going to believe this.
oh, well
But
maybe that's
why would
her.
I don't make it up. It
No,
just comes.
no, and I know others have, and so what this is doing is this is helping me. I was still a little bit having a hard time with Fiona just because of this. Well, you're confirming everything. And because I know you, I'm now at a point where, hey, it is what it is.
I know. I'm like, just okay, God, is there more? Bring it on. Like, it's just nuts. And it's funny because on my PowerPoint with my timeline, I always noticed there was a big gap between the age of 3 weeks old and then 3 years old. And I kept thinking, what happened? Well, that was the tub business. And cutesy dancer came in there before Jewel. Kitten's new name is Jewel. Anyway, so this night it was pretty tame. I saw a woman brushing her hair back into a ponytail. I have no idea who or what. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking it might have been one of the women getting ready for that dance because she was flinging her hair like the woman did in the video. So maybe that's what it was. I honestly don't know. I haven't gotten anything else from that. And then a few moments later, so I'm drifting off again. Then a few moments later, a man in a black hood turned to look at me, and he had yellow eyes, and he was looking at me with hate. It was like the image was a side view, so his cape was partially covering, and his eyes were yellow, John. They were yellow. I just, it freaked me out. I got the impression that this was the man that BB saw in the library. So
Ah, there we
it
go.
took several days later that, oh, that's what he looked like. It made my adrenaline surge because the only thing I remembered was his smell and his bony body and him talking to me. I never remembered his face. But when it morphed, because obviously he's not walking around town with yellow eyes.
No, evidently.
So he showed me who he was, and he says, "You can see, can't you?" And I'm like, "Well, who could
Yeah,
miss that?"
I just want to emphasize, I mean, the Lord's got such powerful things for you to do, right? Because anybody that has been subjected to that's where Wizzy, who's now wisdom, is that correct? Am I
Yes,
remember?
yes.
Okay. That God preserved you, you went through hell and back. You have a very close connection with the Lord.
See, I believe you when you say that. I hear it and I take it in, but it's just so unre so fantastical.
Yeah, no, but it's just right. You lived it. Like, well, I don't this that. So I just want to, as an outsider, sort of looking at me right on the sidelines, um, meaning the spiritual realm is so normal to you.
I get I don't really experience it right now, but yeah.
Oh, but
I have as an adult, but
you
not.
know, in the unseen world, meaning, look at the eyes of
It's
that.
very real. Yeah, it's very real.
So you looked Satan in the eyes, or he looked you in the right, and the
I don't
time
know if
that
it was Satan or one of his minions, but
right, but
I
no,
was
a
like,
powerful one. And so much so he's leading up the group with Nixon or whatever this right. Um, so it's just the Lord. Remember, as you were describing in the ceremony, and uh, Jesus talks through you.
yeah, yeah. See that? Yeah, I know it happened,
Absolutely.
but I can't.
So so so
Yeah,
just take heart, knowing that you know what you're doing. You have a very high calling. It's just you being you. But like days that are discouraging, different things that happen, just know that, you know what, spiritual warfare or it's having a hard day, right? So it's
yeah.
just it's just
No,
news.
I have a level of certainty now about
There you go.
my protection.
Yeah,
I know it.
there you go.
So
So your channel, things that you're doing, um, I mean, in all sincerity, I would say, the scripture is inspired, but certain people, the work they do, just like Alan, well, there I go saying it, right? Just like Alan, you're really, the Lord's going to use you very strategically because of what you went through. So
yeah.
I just want to reaffirm that for you.
Okay. So next morning, I slept well. I invited Jonah, Flora, Fern, Poppy, Sophia, Celia. This is Pins and Stretch. Fern is Fanny. Celia is Cutesy Dancer. And any other parts that wanted to come
Oh, this is the point at which I responded to. I emailed you
look
back.
out through my eyes and come
This
outside
is so
watering with
good.
me.
This
Yeah.
is so good.
So we looked through the whole house. I walked through the whole house because, Chris was gone. I had so much time. And each room, the front yard, all the backyard, and even the shed. Everybody's happy to be here. And then later that day, I was just doing a video for Signs and Symbols of the pentagram.
Yeah.
And I realized in those ceremonies where I thought they were pointing to four directions, which I thought was north, south, east, and west, that I was wrong. It was actually five directions, and it was earth, air, fire, and water. And the fifth direction was ether, the pentagram. I learned that while I was making the video. I knew it before, but for some reason I didn't retain it. The fifth point of the star of the pentagram, the top of it, is the ether part, the person's head. It's like that drawing of, you got your legs and your arms and your head's the fifth point.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was So in Himmler's castle, yes, the four directions were called to, and they labeled them north, south, east, and west, right? Because your family in the north, blah, blah, blah. But they also incorporated the earth, air, fire, water, whichever one corresponded to it. They just added the direction to freak me out. And then after that, but then that big black brother came from the fifth direction. So it's the same part that I experienced in the library as a 3-year-old is now being, triggered again in Himmler's castle 20 years later.
That's right.
The fifth direction, which would have been from the ether, Same thing with the rituals in the Masonic Lodge. They use earth, air, fire, water, and ether. So I thought that kind of cleared that up because I was like, I think I was confusing it with Native American ceremonies because they call to the four directions, north, south, east, and west, when they do their circle ceremonies. But these guys are witches, and it was a fifth element, which was the ether, which is, I think they're calling down a demons area.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a big aha for me. And the last
You know,
one,
that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that in an Ethernet cable.
right? I
Wait a
know.
second. Wait a
Alan
second.
talks about the symbology of computer language, that you have RAM and a hard drive, and you've got, it's sexual wording for the computer. Alan did a show about that. I just recently re-listened to it for something else. I was like, oh yeah. Oh, yeah, he went all into it.
Viruses, computer virus. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was intentionally labeled that
You know,
way. It's
you
just
know,
crazy.
working with it, I can't see the world the same way twice.
No, Alan will wake you up. He
Yeah.
if you truly listen, yeah. Which is amazing to me because Melissa's audience, was Alan's audience. And I always thought that they were at the same kind of understanding that me and Melissa are, but they really are not.
And
Because
by
if
the
they
way,
were, they wouldn't be having issue with you.
yeah, and I decided, hopefully you're okay with it. I gave her an out and she took the out. So,
Yeah, she told me we chatted while Chris was
and
gone.
I don't blame her. You know, I'm still working on, it's just taking
Well, when I
forever.
said to her, I said, John told me he's working on a response. It probably won't be ready till October. I said, so maybe by
Well, the
then.
first response hopefully will be out in a week or so. I keep trying to
Oh,
finish
are you gonna put that on your
on
YouTube?
YouTube. I'm going to, because that one will actually be my son.
Oh,
He
okay.
did a nice thing for Father's Day. What were he was reflecting on growing up with me. And so I'm interspersing the emails using, I was able to actually do AI generated, I copied their voices. So it's kind of
Yeah.
nice. And so it's them reading their own emails. And so I'm interspersing it
Oh.
with different segments. So it'll be really nice. That one I'm going to put on there just because. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I said to her. I said it's August, so maybe by then John will have his response out. Your listeners will have checked it out, and then you'll be able to interview him again. It won't be a big deal. But
But then
her,
there's a big one coming. There's a big one behind that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was just this morning.
Oh, yeah.
That I kept thinking about what John said about me being the worst case he's ever worked with. And I kept thinking, no, there's somebody else that had it worse than me, Nathan Reynolds. He had to fight in pits and kill people with his teeth. Said actually live like an animal for long periods of time. Then I remembered being a tomboy in my neighborhood and having wrestling matches with the neighbor boys and winning. I thought about that and it occurred to me that I did fight other children in pits. It's just this morning. I was at that school, Sisters of Notre Dame. First, it was with girls my age and a little older, then it's with boys my age and a little older. I remember being flipped on my back. I remember one of them flipped me on my back. I remember being bruised up a lot too. I told mom it was because of the boys I wrestled in the neighborhood. She told me she didn't understand why I did that. Pitt is telling me that it was hand to hand combat. This is like maybe an hour after this. We didn't fight to the death, but we certainly got close. They didn't want to lose any assets just then, which in Nathan Reynolds' case, it was all about who can kill who and the cream of the crop rises. It reminds me of Chris and I were first together about a month or two. We had a wrestling match in the house, this house, and he won. I suppose that's when I felt I would be okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were not supposed to hurt each other's face. This came a little while later. We were not supposed to hurt each other's faces. I suppose there were too many of us that had to go back home and explain. It was Wisconsin, so we could wear long sleeves and slacks a lot, although in summer that was not the case. So I would wrestle with the boys in the neighborhood as a cover.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So I added that to all my stuff. So now I'm at 163 parts. But this is what I also did this morning. I thought we started at 10 o'clock my time. So I came in here at 9 o'clock and spent an hour farting around, sent you a link to realize at 10:15, I read Susan's text again. I went, oh shit, it's 3 o'clock their time. It's noon my time. I don't know why I thought it was done,
Yeah.
but it gave me the opportunity to check this out. I looked up driving distance from Milwaukee, where I lived, to School Sisters of Notre Dame, 15 minutes.
No.
15 minutes. And then I thought, well, okay, where could that place have possibly been, that shooting range? So I looked up shooting ranges in
Oh.
Mequon. Well, first of all, I looked at, where was it? Where did Concordia go?
You also think you had to blow everybody up?
Maybe. For my first thought was, well, check this out. This is like a nature preserve. So they could have brought the horses in and through here, and we could where I had to blow people up. And 50 years ago, this may not have been populated, right? But I remember the horses coming in. I think we were maybe here for the water to kind of buffer the sound, maybe. But then I pulled out and I thought, I was looking at shooting ranges and I thought, well, what shooting ranges were in the area? So I looked up, I said shooting ranges is 1972, right? So there's this one. And I'm like, no, the picture didn't really trip my trigger. So I'm looking around and guess what I found? Oh, where is it? Oh, I don't know how I saw it. Like God led me to it. Let me close that. The Lion's Den Gorge Nature Preserve.
Okay, the gorge.
And it's only a 45-minute drive from Milwaukee, 30 minutes from School Sisters of Notre Dame. But check this out.
That's where the explosions took place.
Look at this.
No way.
Way, right? And if you look up close right now, there's some homes in here and whatever.
I
But
wonder if you
55
click
years ago, there
layers.
may not have been.
Diana, can you click bottom left, the layers?
Yeah.
Let's see if there's, okay, there.
So there's a lot of homes back here. They're not very close to each other.
It says a gorge.
I know. Well, look at it. Oh, here. Get out of there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was looking at these pictures. I mean, look
Yes.
how secluded it is.
That's where they're setting off explosions.
Yeah. And I thought the lion's den. A
Yeah.
lion's den.
Isn't that right?
And look how large this wooded area is.
That's right. So the trees are going to be muffled. The explosions are going to be muffled.
Right. And if
And
you've
look how
got
close,
wealthy people living here,
and I
they're
bet there's some,
probably in the know.
and they can bring people in by boat right there.
Yeah. And oh, I don't know why this picture is not as big.
Look at that right there. You just bring them in by boat. That's where they brought the kids in.
Look at these pictures. Look at his dog, you know? And I gotta show you something.
Because isn't that where, right, they were hurting the people, the kids?
Mm. I don't know, maybe.
Right? You could bring them right in by boat.
But look at that picture. Now, Chris took this picture of us going to, this is on the West Coast. We were driving up to Oregon along the 101. It's the same as this picture here, right here. Look at it. And I am at the very back of this bridge. I was like, are you kidding? I've got this picture right here hanging in my hallway.
You guys were there.
Well, no, it's a different
Okay.
railings and stuff, but I just was like, oh my God. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, they could have brought them anywhere along this lake shore.
They brought 'em
Lions Den Gorge Nature Preserve. And it's only 45 minutes from my house, 30 minutes from School Sisters, depending on traffic. But 55 years ago, there was no traffic,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, oh my God. I thought that was just fascinating. How do I get out of here? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, how do you get the picture to go away? I guess
It'd
there.
be interesting to
Okay.
find a clearing big enough to where they would, the
Look
kids.
at this.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't know if this is well, right now it's a house, but this may have all been, if it's a nature preserve, it might have had nothing on it.
Yeah,
That's a huge piece of land,
yeah.
and School Sisters of Notre Dame is like, I don't know, around here somewhere. So I was just like, wow, are you kidding me? And there's the name of a town. Guess what it's called? It's near here. It's called Belgium.
No.
Yes, I ran into it and I don't know. Let me see if I can find it now.
Okay, what a joke. They have a
I know.
roads
There,
converge.
it's right there, Belgium, Wisconsin, right? And so we're right in here. There's Belgium, Wisconsin. And there's also another name of a town here called Elkhart, Wisconsin. And I was born in Elkhart, Indiana. I was like, I just noticed them. I'm like, I don't think I was at these places, but I was like, Belgium, are you kidding me? Yeah, so I was just kind of flabbergasted when I found this nature preserve, and it's only 30 minutes away. And I'm still gobsmacked at how I could have been gone for entire whole days, from morning till dusk, and then be gone for 2 or 3 days. And I want to talk to my friend Joe again and ask him again, do you remember me being gone for entire weekends?
Yeah.
Because he might, now that, he's had time, how memories are. So yeah, I was like, I think this is where maybe the shooting and the explosives and the fighting pits were. And then the School Sisters of Notre Dame.
Well, I mean, I haven't thought much about it until now, and don't ask me why, but the idea,
But see, here's Concordia, right? And here's this big strip of land. It's like right, well, or no, it's this strip, I think.
oh,
So there,
I didn't catch on. It's that close.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
I don't know how to put a point in a point. So here, Milwaukee,
so they
Akron.
house the
So it's
kids.
before Port Washington.
They house the kids they're going to sacrifice. They house them at that Sisters of Notre Dame, and so they just have that's what
Yeah, here's the Lion's Den.
he trafficked the kids to that Sisters in Notre Dame.
Well, and remember, it's got tunnels under it. So who knows if there isn't a tunnel connecting the two? And they use golf carts or something to drive you underground,
Thought about it
or even a little railroad in there.
because in national
This is
forests,
where I think School Sisters is. I wish I could. Where is Mequon? Can't find it now. Anyway, so yeah, I mean they're not far from each other. I thought that the School Sisters in Notre Dame was like an hour away. It's not. It's 15 minutes, and the Lion's Den is like 45 minutes from my house. So it'd be 30 minutes from school from the Notre Dame place. So that kind of blew me away. I took some images and put it in a file, and I thought I gotta show Jon.
just my own ignorance. If someone were to ask me, like Great Lakes, where would be the crime center, I would say, well, Chicago. Well, and true, but I would never have assumed Milwaukee.
No, Milwaukee is like the baby brother of Chicago.
Oh,
Why
is
are you
okay.
here? Yeah, I forget the wording that they use, but Milwaukee is like a baby Chicago. I think that's what they call it, a mini baby Chicago or something like that. It's to
Because
indicate,
it makes sense, right? Because it's a port city.
yeah. I mean, Milwaukee's pretty large, and also on top of it is the beer capital of the world, up until about 20 years ago. So who deals with alcohol, and the prohibition era and all that? So of
Yeah.
course they're going to have crime happening in the
Yeah.
beer capital of the world, you know. So yeah.
Because then they were already brewing. Now it's legal
Well,
now.
yeah, and look, you come in this river, you can
Yeah,
go all the way up here on the river in these boats. But why do go to all that trouble when you can just
yeah,
land anywhere you want?
right.
So yeah, I think this is where the lion's den is, which is funny because it's a triangle, and then you've got the School Sisters of Notre Dame down here. Oh, there's Mequon. So School Sisters would be right about here.
And to think you have access to two countries, right, from that
Yeah,
far away, right
yeah,
there.
for sure. And this is where all is it here or no, I think it's right here where they talked about Alan and that guy talked about uh what was it, Hudson Harrison, Canada being the headquarters for the US Mafia. Hamilton, Canada.
Isn't that?
Hamilton, Ontario. Yeah. And right here being where the theater is. And then I think over here is where the tower was, the CN Tower. So you could just fly.
Yeah,
What is that? A 15-minute helicopter flight?
probably.
Private airplane flight? So you got Chicago and Milwaukee with the headquarters for all the mob right here. And New York is just right there. So it's in between Chicago and New York. Well, and Washington. It's just this whole strip right here. It'd be funny to see if they were all on the same ley line.
Oh,
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah, the CN Tower is in Toronto, and there's Hamilton, and here was the where the Queen did her deal.
unbelievable.
Wow. It's so like it was going through my head. It's just too fantastical to believe. Like, unreal. But anyway,
Well,
so
to think your memories are coming back so clearly, that's what's
where
it's a
is
gift in
this?
a way, who wants that kind of gift, but at the same time, not all survivors really, actually, not as many get such
The details.
you're getting the most memories I've ever heard of in chunks. I mean, you're seeing.
Honestly, John, I think it was because you had me make a timeline. You had me, I don't even remember what the beginning steps were. Oh, pick a picture for a part, you know. And then I thought, oh, well, let me make a bio because I don't want to have to try to remember it all because there's just too much. But it was putting it on paper and mapping it out, that PowerPoint, this one, the original one, where all this began, and then I could add the sketches. And if people aren't doing this kind of work, it's like, I forget what girl I listened to. Oh, I wasn't even sharing that. I forget what girl I was listening to. She was in some sort of situation where she needed to stay with friends for help. She was on the run, and her friend said, well, you're welcome to stay here, but I'm going to insist that you work on your memories and your parts 8 hours every single day. And I can't remember who the woman was, but she was one of the ones that talked about how at a certain point she realized she needed to put together a health team, like her parts put together a team of health. She was like a programmer. Maybe it was Spally. Maybe that's who it was. But so I think she's got that same level of detail because she sat and worked on it for
Mhm.
8 hours a day because her friend she was staying with insisted on it. And she just journaled and sketched and just worked stuff out. And if people aren't willing to do that, then why bother at all?
Good for you.
Yeah, let me just touch the surface layer and then run away. And you just can't do that.
What's sad is the client that I showed the chart where she went from stick figure sketch in the little condominiums to the
The
picture.
AI thing. Yeah.
That's as far as she's gotten.
Oh,
And she
well,
even went over there. She's even there.
well,
Her mother got
she
cancer,
put it all in a box, didn't she?
right? Right. And oh, that's right. But it's sad because I believe her mother trafficked her.
Oh, yeah,
Tuesday,
you've mentioned
Tuesday,
that
right?
before.
And
Yeah.
so even as we speak, she's with her mother, helping her out, and
Do
she's
you
wondering,
still work with her?
yeah, but she's down to, just I had worked with her solid for 2.5 years, and she never got past it because she's still connected to the perp.
Yeah, that's got to
So
happen
you need that
first.
break, and until you can work at it. So, but she's having all these body memories. It's just sad. So,
Oops. So, oops, shoot. I was going to show you the new parts. I couldn't find a picture of a girl in a tub with tons of toys. This was as close as I could get.
okay, that's good.
But imagine only like 4 times as many, and they're not all floating.
Yeah,
So that's Fern, who was Fanny.
yeah.
So I think Dad started his programming there, and he did it with all the toys to see which ones I would freak out from, which ones I liked. Um, and then where's Cutesy? I think I missed her already. Yeah. Because this was before, I think before Kitten, or right there she is, Celia. Cutesy dancer. Can you imagine? This is a real picture off Google. Look at all that makeup on her.
That's all it is.
Sexualizing this little girl, and that's what he wanted me to do. So I saw the picture. It was I put in there little girl doing sexual dance, and none of them were sexual. And finally, I just put in little girl dancing, and I got this.
There you go. That's all it is.
So yeah, and then who is the other
Some
one?
like some parents okay with that.
I know, right? And so here's oh yeah, Pitt came after Wolf because I think once Wolf got her training in the forest and stuff, then they were like, okay, you need to learn hand-to-hand combat. This was the closest picture I could find of two little girls fighting. You couldn't find one in a pit. So I thought, well, this is good enough. Pit like this. So she needs a new name and all that, but she's on my chart, my graphs, and all that. Oops. And then I put her story I just read to you. And let me show you. Yikes. Hurts. So I actually had to number my files to when I get a new part, I have to go from here to here to keep things straight. So there's the checklist, which I showed you, but this is what I thought was interesting when I put Pitt in here, who was like 7. Look at all these parts when I was 7, just 7. I had to put, point 7.52, 7.5 see who came after who. So Pitt wound up in here. It's like they had all this intense training to kill, and then it kind of calmed down with Winnie because it was more tracking and stuff. And then there was fighting, but there was no killing. So the impact was less.
That's right. That's right.
Right. And then there was the moneymaker part, which is weird that it's way up there. But then we started with the killing again and the back and forth and back and forth. But it was like they planned it to do that.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean?
Because it's the shock value of it all.
Yeah, yeah. Let's give you the
Emotional,
shock and awe, calm it down, shock you, calm it, shock you.
it's emotional whiplash.
Yeah, yeah. And Charlotte was only happy because she could disappear into knitting. That
Yeah,
was a
it's
part
like
I created for myself at home, but otherwise, if Charlotte hadn't happened, Juliet was a creation of them.
it's like emotional dunking underwater.
Yeah.
You bring
Oh,
them
yeah.
up just long enough and you bring them down back down.
Uh-huh. I mean, I just lived down here this whole time. I'm kind of blown away that I found a way to have this high of a level. I did it for myself. I
Right.
was just knitting. I just asked my mom to show me how to knit, and I would
And
just disappear in knitting.
okay, now think about that. That's so profound, Diane. Think about most kids are bored at knitting or with knitting. So knitting
It was
was
an
the highest
escape for
experience.
me.
At a scale of 1 to 10, your best time was sitting by yourself, zoning out with knitting, and
Yeah,
that's 4.
and it's a 4.
You
Yeah.
never got beyond a 4 in your life as a kid.
Well, for those years, yeah.
Right, for those.
Getting the dog was huge.
But that was a setup. So what happened with the
And
dog?
going to school was huge. Yeah, the dog was a setup for sure.
Did they harm the dog?
He did at some point, yeah, when we got all very attached to it and whatever.
That's exactly anytime they get an animal for a kid, that's what they're going to do.
But this was God's gift to me right here. It's like he instilled that right there, the fighter and the spirit.
Okay, so remind me,
First off.
Yeah. So what happened to you? So you remember? So
Well, that
what?
was Bonnie Blue. Remember, she was fighting under the
Yeah.
blood being
Okay, there we go.
drowned.
There we go. Yep.
And I feel like Michael, the archangel, was in me or fighting me. That's Michael, the fighter, fighting, God's war, and spirit was born. I don't know. I don't have many memories of Michael at all. I just know that he was the righteous indignation.
So let me ask just one other question about that. So why does that make that a 10? What about that? Because
I
one
think
might
because
say,
I was fighting for my life.
okay, so that would seem traumatic. So what is that? Why is that a positive?
I don't know, because I feel like it was the Archangel Michael fighting.
Okay, so you could feel then the presence of God intervening on your behalf.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I've got kind of a gray area there, but I know that it was a good experience.
Okay, right. That's all I was asking. I wanted to draw that out,
Yeah, I mean,
which is
yeah,
amazing.
I got the spirit of God right there. It's
Okay,
like,
so what would be interesting right there, Diana, is that you've got a very unique situation where it would be interesting then to also draw the emotional impact of what they were doing, which is going to be probably a 10, I'm sorry, minus 10.
yeah.
But in the midst of that, it shows that God was, I mean, in the midst of hell, he's doing something for you, which made it a 10.
Well, and it makes me remember that. Remember, I told you once, I feel like before I was born, God asked me if I wanted to do this or not.
Yeah.
And I said yes. And so, okay, I'm born. 3 weeks later, I have this experience, and God said, okay, we're going to imbue you with this, whatever this is.
Yeah.
And then, okay, here's the shit.
Okay. You know what? I just feel compelled. Ready? Um, because I believe you're going to be presenting this at some point in time, right?
Someone will ask me the same
Going to, right?
question. Yeah.
What I would do so that people can see, because that's a crucial moment, I would actually, for visual effects, so if I'm an audience listening to you, I'm going to think that was a happy moment.
You're
But that's
right. Yeah.
but a
Well, I'm
minus,
wondering if I'm not fooling myself and
okay,
it was
minus 10 is
negative 10.
right, right. A minus 10 is happening to you. So I don't know how you would want to represent that, but that and so in your talk, um, but I would, but
I don't
so we
know.
got
I
two,
just feel like,
well, we got so maybe something like this. So visually, because this whole thing represents the highs and lows. So
yeah.
maybe something like a bar graph or something where I would keep I'm just as an outsider, if you're going to present this,
Uh-huh.
that as an outsider, I mean, hear this in a positive way, because what I want to draw out, so this will be really good. I would almost give yourself permission to bring the line as far as the negative impact and then show that superimpose it with something, almost like I don't know, I'm throwing this out, like a translucent bar graph right there, so that it shows the horrific nature of what you went through, but suddenly, and that all of a sudden that catches the audience's eye, like, wait a second, I don't understand what, and now you can really describe that, but the effect, the thing that was being done.
I don't know. That just seems wrong because it was like, it was like God gave me Michael's righteous indignation in order to fight. Does that make sense? Because I could have, I should have died. Yeah. I don't know. Hello? Oh shoot, you're frozen. Hello. Yeah, you froze.
We're having tremendous storms, and the power went out. So what I'm doing is,
Oh, okay.
you want to do FaceTime for right now while I'm bringing up the computer again?
Sure. Well, yeah, or we can just chat. But yeah, I've just FaceTimed you.
Well, I guess that one told her so much. Okay. And so I'm bringing the computer up right now. So I'm just trying to, because you're.
I mean, what you're saying makes sense. I mean, logically, I'm thinking, yeah, that should be a -10, but
that's right.
It wasn't. It
right,
was.
Well, it actually was. Right. Oh, I'm typing in your name for my password. Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, take your time. It's fine.
Okay, there we go. So because your entire thing, your entire chart is the emotional impact, I would actually stick with that theme because that was a -10. But God superimposed himself. And so you had a 10 level moment. So I just, like, if I'm an outsider and you're presenting this, if you keep it, I think what's going to help is this. If you keep it a -10 and then do something else, well, I do a little translucent bar graph because now people are going to want to know, what is that?
And that would be what, the spiritual impact?
Or miraculous intervention or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because, well, spirits.
Yeah.
But see, yeah. So, because Bonnie's the one being drowned.
Right. I'm just thinking the theme of your now. Hold on. You go with what you want, right? But if I'm looking at that as an outsider, like as your audience.
Yeah, you're like, it's an anomaly.
Well, and I'm going to think it's a really positive thing.
Yeah.
So if you keep it at a the -10 is terrific. I'm logging in now. But then if you have something to show me, wait a second, I've got this weird, okay, what a wonderful part of your talk, which is also to show survivors that God he will intervene, and therefore he has his hand upon you.
Yeah.
But the thing, what you got going is the negative impact. So I just think because it's so horrific, if you bring that line down, then it makes sense. But then superimpose something so that you and the audience actually can, because it's such a powerful story.
I think that's what the point, the spirit part, because God put, there was divine intervention under that water.
So I would separate those out because everything else is actual emotional impact, right? That's a -10 in terms of impact. But God stepped in. So I would still keep, no, you do what you want, right? It's your chart. You need to feel.
Yeah.
So, but as far as an outside, because everything else is emotional impact. The emotional impact was as horrific as you can get, but God stepped in. So I would say if somehow you can visualize, because sticking with the same bar graph you have, that's the degree of impact.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I'm just throwing that out, right? You can't go wrong with whatever you're doing. So you feel led by that. But it just, to me as an outsider, it looks like, oh, that was a happy time. That was Disneyland. Well, it wasn't. You're going through hell.
Yeah. I guess I'm thinking that because Michael is It's like he embodies righteous indignation. He embodies
That's right.
God's fury.
That's right.
So if it's an embodiment of God, it's a 10.
Absolutely. In a minus 10 situation.
Right. Okay, so that would be the split between Michael and Spirit then. Because
Correct.
Michael's fighting for his life and Spirit is being imbued or whatever.
There you go. But again, I'm looking as an outsider. It almost looks like, oh, that must have been a Disneyland experience. But if you bring it all the way down, it's like, whoa, okay, something happened. So it's really going to be an anomaly, which it was.
Well, yeah, and if I was 3 years old, disassociating, going sitting on God's lap, then I knew how to go there. So he must have showed me when I was 3 weeks old how to get
so,
there.
so maybe, okay, this could be
And maybe
interesting.
that was Michael taking me to God, the actual
Okay.
archangel that
So
I call Spirit.
maybe, okay, so maybe so again, I need to be careful because this is yours. Obviously, I don't want you stick with what you feel good about. But just for me as an audience looking at your chart, I think
It makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so maybe now another overlay. Sorry to give you possible extra work, but this could be interesting. Something translucent, something where overlaying the chart.
You show throughout my life show the divine intervention.
There you go. And so actually it'll probably match. It's very interesting. It'll probably be the worst times in your life. We got
Yeah, because that would be what was it? Sarah Catherine. Oh yeah. Well, no.
so I don't know how you want to do that, but to do justice for the injustice you suffered, meaning for you, I think you ought to bring that down, but show something else, like the times that God intervened and how it was a 10. And so that'll also give the viewers hope, like, whoa, God stepped in and saved, literally pulled you away during those high times. And then that'll be very interesting. That adds an additional talking point because now it'll really stand out as far as good. These are the times that God intervened in my life, including.
Yeah, when I barfed up the puked in my grandma's face and he took over my body.
I don't know. Again, you need to do, obviously, and you put it that way. But as I was just looking as the outsider, I kept thinking something doesn't feel right about that because it's a 10 when it was a minus 10. And all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, maybe overlaying something where we've got divine intervention and then do the times literally, and then you actually describe it.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking if I'm discussing this with people, are they going to think I'm full of shit? You know?
They're going to know that God has intervened in your life. And think about the survivors. I know, and I've heard this from a number of survivors, Diana, that God asked them, are you sure you want to go through this? So that's very interesting. Kind of the overall.
Okay.
Okay.
So other people have had this too. I mean, I don't want people to think I'm just some sort of.
But it's also going to give people hope that he was not detached. But as a matter of fact, almost verbatim, I have one survivor, same thing, that she sat on God's lap.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. No, I just.
This may be the thing to jog people's awareness, memory, like, oh, this really is not a dream. You mean it was actual? So I think that will really, for those that were harmed the most, I think you're going to find there's a number of survivors out there that your work will be confirming for them that it's not their imagination.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know it's not my imagination. I just
It's
keep
all,
thinking
it's almost like
people are
footprints,
going to think I'm talking shit or something.
right? It's almost like the poem Footprints in the Sand. When you were going through the worst, God pulled you out. So now, don't ask me how you're going to construct that.
Well, I
But
think I would just make another graph with the exact same age, make it clear, but with a different color line, and now I could lay it on top or pull it off.
or maybe also its own separate dot to dot graph.
Yeah, spiritual impact. Maybe that's what I should call it.
There we go. Or divine intervention or something like that.
Wow, I never thought about that, but yeah, there was.
So to me, that actually deserves a -10. But
Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
It does.
times that got right, you're going to shortchange yourself. No, I'm kidding. But so what you're trying to explain, it makes right. So if you now do a separate denotation, however you're going to do that, visual representation of divine intervention. So in the midst of the hardest and worst stuff, God intervened. And to have that each time, I think it's going to help survivors, because my guess is, well, I know, right? But more than just you and a couple others I've talked to, others have had that. And so for them to be able to see, okay, how many times God did a very miraculous thing. Okay, the average person doesn't get that experience because the average person didn't go to hell.
Isn't going through the intense
There you go.
stuff.
There you go. So it makes sense that God himself is going to do a very miraculous intervention, like shutting the lion's mouths for Daniel. Okay, this is a kid that's being horribly perked on. And so God steps in, and then what a powerful thing. It's a +10. And then you get to describe in your presentation. Now the audience is looking at that. We've got I'd actually do a -11 for that one. Why not? I don't know. It could be an interesting anomaly. But in the lowest of times, here's what happened.
Yeah. And it
And
didn't
so
always happen
emotionally,
in every lowest time, but yeah, because I got lots of -10s.
or maybe it's just a separate point. Maybe draw the little point a little differently and give a description of it. I don't know. So divine intervention.
Oh,
Or something.
okay. Yeah, maybe I could just add a shape and lay it on top.
There you go. Put a little picture. I don't. You'll know. Right?
Insert a
But
shape. Yeah. Wonder if there's a cross. Yeah.
a
Okay.
little picture of Michael the Archangel.
Okay. I wish you were still on here because I just.
No, I think hold on. Let me try it again. I think the whole internet thing got off. Okay, let me try it again. Not even letting me back on. So I think I need this. Well, you know what? Come back.
I don't know if I like that.
Okay, let me see. I'll just plug this thing in. Okay. I would think it would have come on by itself.
Oh yeah, don't stress out over it. It's fine.
Just a second. I'll get back in just a second. Yeah, the modem, the router, everything went off.
Wow, you must be having a really bad storm.
Yeah. Okay, again, you need to do what you feel is right, but I thought, you know what?
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Because that's the worst time in your life. So that sounds funny. Don't shortchange yourself. That's not, you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But the audience, I'd actually put it -11. Make an exception. Let people see whatever number you feel free. I'd do a -11. So it's like, wait a second, there's something very unique about whatever happened there. It's the lowest. It went below the chart. But all of a sudden there's this thing. It's like, okay, what happened? Well, now you've got the perfect you're going to be able to explain it. And so what a wonderful way to be able to help people see. And then they'll know what those, whatever the symbols are, then they're going to be able to see it along with the chart. And then it'll give you an opportunity. So let me talk about this one. Let me talk about this one. And God stepped in.
Yeah. I have that image picture. Oh shit.
Okay, I'm going to plug this thing.
Well, do you have someone waiting? It's
No. But let's. I'm going to still keep on here. Okay. Hold on. Time flies, huh? No, let's keep going for a little bit.
okay. Okay, I figured it out.
Okay, I'll be interested. So this thing should fire up here in just a few moments. I gotta wait 30 seconds. Then I'm plugging in the router. A lot of it just got plugged in. Again, you do what you're right.
You're right. I gotta change Michael. He is a -10. He was fighting for his life. I guess I always perceived that as the archangel himself, but it's not. That fighting, God gave me his spirit in me to fight, not Michael's.
Still,
But then who is Bonnie?
Lord, if you sense this Lord, I would put, again, the Lord comes upon people. And suddenly, Samson, okay, God, the Spirit of the Lord would come upon Samson. And suddenly, Samson was able to do superhuman things.
Yeah.
It beat the tar out of everybody.
I can't remember which part it was that had that moment of puking, and was that Kitten or Jewel? Oh, I need to look in my journals. Oh, see, those are my handwritten journals, darn it. But I think, yeah.
Okay, it's almost done.
Oh, and that other incidents where I meditated and I chose not.
How'd you thinking that would be really
chose not to accept the demon.
So
was that be divine intervention? Or
yes,
just me choosing?
I think you ought to put a demonic face somewhere, because again, that's a really
that would be BB.
That would be a really noteworthy thing for the audience to zero in on, because now that's going to be a talking point.
Yeah,
So,
Forrest, because Forrest, that where I encountered that demon in meditation, he's a -10.
Okay, so yeah, where there's any kind of spiritual, where it's you in the spiritual realm, meaning you and the Lord, but that one, as you say, it was so profound and it was scarier than anything you've ever been through.
Yeah.
That'll be a wonderful, that'll talk, you'll have so much stuff wrapped into that, including it'll help people know, don't play around with the occult, don't get into this stuff, because here's what happened.
Okay.
And I'm going to call out my door. I'll let Susan know I restarted the internet. Just
okay, yeah, take your time.
Yeah. Am I there? Grace. That's great. Yes. Okay. Almost there. You are doing such good work, not because you listen to me.
No, it makes sense. It's, yeah. Well, you always think of it in terms of how it's being presented to others. See, I don't think that way.
Part of the benefit, right? I'm that outsider kind of looking in, so to speak. And
Yeah.
it's taking a long time. Okay, so it's almost ready here now.
Oh yeah. What was that part where I baptized myself at the river? It wasn't really a part. It was after I left the army.
Oh yeah, each of those three. Oh, this is beautiful. Because look at how many. Oh, I really like this. So the times that the Lord spoke to you, and the very, very powerful moments.
Oh, and I was baptized when I was 4. Okay. Okay.
It's like this thing. I'm trying to get seven.
And when God wanted me to work on Alan's stuff, that was another time. God sent Dixie to me. I figured out how to do it. You can insert a picture. So I inserted the Jesus picture at that point.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, we have to stay on until I can get back on.
Sure, yeah, that's fine. I'm still recording. I don't know if it can hear you. It's listening to me. I'm still recording. I got the phone right by the microphone, so I think it is picking it up. We'll see.
That's wonderful. Okay.
Trying to think of what were the other times that I felt his presence.
The castle, did you feel anything?
Oh, well, I mean Jesus, but yeah, I'll do the castle for sure. That would be Barry and Janina. Oh, wow. Look at this. When you see this, this will be interesting.
Diana, you have the makings of a tremendous, very practical, curriculum and workbook.
I'll have to trust you on that.
You've got, so here are the assignments.
So BB, where was BB? How old was I? How old are you, BB? You're 3. Right there. And then Himmler's Castle is the other time I feel like I stared Satan in the face.
For sure, right?
And then when did Chris baptize me? Oh, yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be very, very interesting to research that Aquino guy, that was with the Presidio,
Mm-hmm.
the Temple of Set. He said he was over in that at that castle. He did a ceremony.
Oh, really? I think you
And
told me that before. Yeah.
he's on a video showing he's got a dagger. It's probably Himmler's dagger, and the way he took it out of that sheath, what a sick freak! He just kind of yanks it out like he was familiar how to pull out a dagger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was surreal. So, yeah, I
I
did
gotta
mention
find out
that,
how
but it
old
would be
I
kind of
was
interesting to find out when he was there.
how old is 4? That'd be Booker. So, okay, I was baptized there, and he came in my dreams.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Matthew.
I've never seen this modem message. Doesn't seem to be on.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Hopefully my modem will finally kick in here. But if not, then we'll have to. So does that now, as you're looking at that, does that sort of really bring it out as far as you got the
Yeah, I need to insert text box. Copy.
maybe the whole neighborhood blew. The modem's just not coming online. Well, I'll be in suspense then. When we Tuesday? Is that when we meet, Diana?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I could actually just send you this as a document.
Okay, that would be wonderful. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I'm trying to think of saw him there and there and how old was I? I was a baby. Oh, there it is. Unless there's more instances where I interacted with Jesus, or not Jesus, Lucifer himself. I feel like when I work on TED.
Now make sure you put the what you just described today, so that old guy, when you were in the library.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go. And then this other experience then.
Where is Dream? Oh, right there. That's right. Or no, when did I have that dream? It was 1991. So how old was I? 91. 91 minus 65 was I 28? No, 35. Wait, 19 plus 35. Oh my God, John, what was it? 44? No, 35 years and 9 years. Oh, that's interesting. I was 44 when that happened.
When you saw the demon?
No, when I had the dream where Jesus baptized me. No, that was 1991. What? Okay, so it's 91 minus 65. So that's a 6. I was 26. So what part? Okay, Bo and Reed. It was after Forrest. That's who it was after. Okay.
Yeah, it's not coming out. I don't know what the heck happened.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Well,
Oh, so you can't even get out your email then, can you?
I can't get an. Well, I mean, send it along. It's obviously going to be there, but once.
Yeah, I think so. That was the first baptism. And I think because I have Teddy who was skipping down the alleyway singing a song after going to school. I wonder if one of my teachers didn't, it was a +10 moment. I wonder if she didn't impart Jesus to me somehow.
Yeah, there we go.
And I just don't remember it. Oh, I know where the other time I saw it was at that beheading with the queen. That would have been Eliza. Okay, so the east. Because that was all training, but that was creepy. Okay.
Sure. Well, how about bring it to a close? Not that I want to, but I realize.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, you got me all preoccupied now.
Absolutely fine. I think the darn thing was stable. Yes, send it when you got it.
Okay.
I'm excited to see that you're doing.
I just put an image over the top of it. One of Jesus or one of Lucifer. That's it. So, okay, yeah, that's fascinating to see the highs and the lows. And I feel like almost that other day when I had that dream was another Lucifer moment, but it wasn't a dream. But that's still real anyway. But okay, well, I'll let you go then.
I don't know how far you're taking the timeline, but the fact that you felt, that little demon, whatever it was, sat on your bed.
Yeah, but that was just it was the dream. It was the guy outside.
It's just.
Well, it was the guy standing outside the window, but I didn't really confront him. But I do it's like I confront him. It's not him confronting me with Ted. You know what I mean?
Funny, think about it. The average person would be freaked, but for you, you're so familiar with.
It's funny.
That was just the average person would be wetting their pants.
Yeah, well, but see, Chris wasn't either. He's just like, with patches.
Chris is a funny guy. He's battling this thing. Talk about battling a demon. That's funny.
Yeah, maybe that's why we're matched.
Right.
All right, well, you have a great day, and I will talk to you on Tuesday.
Well, let me pray.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that part.
Lord, thank you. Thank you that Diane and I can still work together, and thank you, even though the internet went out, thank you that we could complete our time here. Lord, continue to give her insight and wisdom as she puts all this material together. Help her to only put down what she feels as far as help her to. She doesn't need my wisdom, she needs yours. So thank you for allowing me to bring something up to where now she can continue to figure out what fits, what's going to be best. I thank you for her willingness to do this channel. Lord, use it in very effective ways to help set prisoners free. So bring those that need to see it, bring them to her channel. Thank you for her heart for those that also suffer. And we'll continue to trust that you are going to be taking what Satan meant for evil. You're going to use it in a very strategic way. Continue to protect her, protect Chris, or continue to work on Chris. Soften his heart. Do a deep work within him so that he can heal from the stuff that he saw and possibly the stuff that he did, and help him to separate out true versus false guilt so that you can fulfill the plan you have for him. So continue to give him wisdom at his work. Give him, strengthen him, because there's so much that he is responsible for. So thank you for his heart. We know he wants to serve. He wants to do what you want him to do. Continue your healing and give Diana wisdom as she interacts with them. And just protect the two of them. Set your angels round about their house. And Lord, thank you for your grace. Thank you for calling each of us and that for the mission that we are a part of. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I'll have you in my prayers tonight. You and Susan every night. Okay. Well, have a good weekend.
God, I'll respond when my darn internet comes up.
Okay. All right. Well, take care.
There you go. We'll talk then.
Okay. Bye.